Hello and welcome to a quick lesson on how to graph a line from its slope-intercept form. Let's begin by reviewing what slope-intercept form is. Slope-intercept form is always going to be y equals mx plus b. In this formula, m will always stand for slope, and your b will always stand for your y-intercept. Now that we mentioned slope, let's briefly review what slope is. We'll begin by reviewing slope as just rise over run. It's important to realize that when we say rise, we mean any movement that goes up or down, and when we say run, we mean any movement that goes left or right. Now, let's say we have a point on the coordinate plane, represented by a green dot. Now, let's say that we want to calculate the slope of a line which crosses over this green dot and also crosses over this red dot. The slope between these 2 points can be calculated as rise over run. Let's start with a rise. From green to red, we go up 2, which means that our rise is 2. Now we can start filling in our slope as 2 over, let's calculate our run. Well, we go across by 2, so our run is also 2. We can go ahead and write our run of 2 in our fraction for slope. Now the only thing left to do is simplify that fraction. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So that means that our final slope for a line connecting our green and red dots would be 1. Now that we've reviewed slope and slope-intercept form, let's see how we would graph a line from its slope-intercept form. Let's say we're given this equation for a line. Our first step should be to write out the general equation for slope-intercept form so that we can understand what number represents what. It looks like the m falls perfectly under the equation's first 2, so we can safely assume that our m, or slope, for this equation will be 2. We can also see that our b, or y-intercept, falls perfectly under 2, so we can safely assume that our b, or y-intercept, for this equation is that second 2. Now that we know that our b equals 2 and we recognize that this b is the y-intercept of our line, we can go ahead and look on our y-axis and find 2. That will be our y-intercept for this line. Now let's review our slope. Our slope in our equation was 2. Well, if we want to convert any whole number into a fraction, we just place it over 1. This means that 2 will be our rise and 1 will be our run. Let's graph. We always start off from our first point, which is our y-intercept. From that point, we will rise 2 and run 1. That's our second point. Now that we have 2 points, all we have to do is connect them with a line, and we're done. Let's have a look at another example. We'll start by writing out the formula for slope-intercept form. Then, let's start color-coding our own formula. It looks like our m is -4, and our b is -3. This means our y-intercept and starting point for our line is -3. On the graphs at y-axis, let's find -3, and that will be the first point on our line. To arrive at our second point, we have to use the slope of our line. Our given slope is -4, and if we want to make any whole number into a fraction, we put it over 1. Our rise will be -4, and our run will be 1. Now let's start graphing. Starting from our initial point, our y-intercept, we're going to rise -4. Since our rise is negative, we're going to actually go down instead of up. Next, our run is 1, so we'll move 1 to the right. This gives us our second point. Now all we have to do is connect these 2 points with a line, and we're done. For our final example, let's write out our formula and then start color-coding our values. M is 2/3 and b is 1. Our b of 1 is our y-intercept and our starting point for drawing out our line. We'll go to our y-axis and find the value of 1. That will be the first point on our line. Now our slope will guide us to our next point. Our slope was 2 over 3. That means our rise is 2 and our run is 3. Let's graph. A rise of 2 means we go up 2, and since our run is 3, we move 3 to the right. That's our second point. All that's left to do is connect these 2 points with a line, and we're done. That's how easy it is to graph a line from slope-intercept form. I hope this video helped you.